All right. Hi, guys. How is everybody? Everybody doing good? I thought I'd put on a little Christmas music for us while we wait. So go ahead and get connected. And I've got to tell you guys, I am so excited to talk about what we're going to talk about today. As you can see, we are going to be talking about some fossils. And we're going to talk about new discoveries, which is so cool, which I don't think we do enough of. We don't show enough of like new stuff that's happening. So I found some new stuff that has been found. So that's why I'm so excited. I love this kind of stuff. I geek out about this stuff. So, all right, let's get started. All right, so we are literally going to talk about fossils today, and that is it, and cool fossils. So I want you to look at this fossil, and I want you to tell me, what do you think this fossil tells us? Just pure qualitative data, purely just looking at it. What do you think it is if you came across this? Ooh, some of you guys are getting it right. And it's okay to be right or wrong in this. This is purely, I just want to see what you guys think. So it is actually a feather. And Elizabeth, I saw you said it looks like a plant. I totally can see why you think it looks like a plant too. It kind of does look like a fern. So it's actually a feather, which is super, super cool. And we're going to read a little bit about this feather. So if you can open this up in your own screen, please do. If you can't, I'm going to open it up in the second tab. So we are going to look at a new dinosaur and all the fossils that were found with this new dinosaur. And so go ahead and click on it if you can. If you can't, not a big deal. I'm going to open it up in the next screen, and we're going to kind of look at it all together. We are going to answer just a few questions about it, but they're not super high pressure questions. They're more of like, what is the takeaway and stuff like that. So let's kind of look at what this is. Hopefully my thing will load. Taking its time. So there he is. Look at that guy. So this is brand new. This has been recently discovered. And this is a new dinosaur. So it says that basically this was a carnivorous dinosaur. Does anybody remember what that means? If it's a carnivorous dinosaur, throw it up in the chat. What does it mean if it's a carnivorous dinosaur? Yeah, eats meat. Very good. Eats meat. It likes to eat other creatures. So it looks like they have found 10 exquisitely preserved fossil feathers, if I can read, in Australia. And this is the first solid evidence that feathered dinosaurs lived at Earth's poles. The feather dates back to 118 million years ago. Let's just put that into perspective for a second here. 118 million years ago, and we are finding stuff that is that old. As humans, we cannot even comprehend how old that is. That is insane. So basically, they know that this was more towards the poles because when we look at how Earth's continents have shifted over the years, Australia was actually much farther south. So even though we found this in Australia, which is beautiful weather, we know that this guy was found in freezing temperatures. So it's a little bit warmer, but not really. We have never found polar feathers in this polar setting before. Our discovery shows for the first time that a diverse array of feathered dinosaurs and flight-capable primitive birds inhabited the ancient polar regions. So we have found delicate bones of dinosaur era birds in polar places before, but we've never ever found fossilized feathers. We have found fossils of an extinct penguin, but it dates back to 36 million years ago. Well, this dinosaur is a lot older. 118 million years ago is crazy. So this is a big kind of clue in showing us how the climate may have been even a little bit different back then, that they were able to live with feathers down there. They also found that usually with feathers, there's some sort of mating displays and different flights. We also may have had insulation to survive in those winter months. And it's just really cool that they were able to find this specific dinosaur way down in this area. I'm trying to see if it has more pictures for you. Oh, there we go. So there's another fossilized picture of the feather. And then that's the one that I put on our presentation. But they found more than 10 of them, which I think is just amazing. So take a little bit more time to kind of maybe look at this article for a second. I'll give everybody like 2 minutes, but I'm going to zoom it back up to where the top is so when we actually see what he looks like. Very, very cool. For those of you that are just joining, here is how you get into our wonderful thing. Go to joinpd.com and type in that code. And we are talking about fossils today and newly discovered fossils. And don't worry about reading the whole thing. You can just kind of skip around. So I'm going to put a timer on. We'll go about 1 more minute or so. Just kind of find some cool key points that you think are cool. This is the only article we're going to read. We're going to do other stuff after this. I love his like nose. Like when you think of feathers, you kind of think of beaks, right? But he has, it looks like he almost has like a nose with a full mouth. Very cool. Okay, if you want to keep reading, go ahead. I'm going to go back to our presentation though. So here are 3 just questions. So why are fossils important to scientists? What was unique about this fossil? What did what was kind of cool just about this actual fossil? And then what did you find interesting about the article? Doesn't have to be super long answers. Just give me a little rundown. Awesome. Some of you guys are saying to look at history to help classify organisms. Love it. Ooh, Kayla, I think that's cool too, how they were able to actually look at the pigments. Elizabeth, I agree. That is a lot to learn just from a feather. Ooh, Sadie, tectonic history. That is awesome. That is a great, great word. Yeah, so they are super important for looking at species and how they lived and how they died, and we can see mass extinctions, and we can see how species died, which I think is really important because it kind of shows us that if things on Earth change, how it could affect even us today, and then how to classify them and how related they are to other creatures. Awesome. And this was important because it was a brand new kind of dinosaur in a different climate that they thought, and it was very different. Perfect. All right, so our next one is the Siberian horse. Has anybody heard of this one before? It is amazing. So let's go ahead and we're going to watch a very short video on this Siberian horse discovery.
This discovery is the first of its kind, with a perfectly preserved 3-month horse of a now extinct species in the Siberian permafrost. The remains of a now extinct species of horse have been unearthed in the Siberian permafrost. Semyon Grigoriev, the head of the Mammoth Museum in Yakutsk, told the Siberian Times that this discovery is unlike any other. This horse was said to have been completely preserved by permafrost and was found buried 30 meters underground in the Batagi Depression in the Yakutia region of Siberia, according to the Siberian Times. The foal was discovered by a team of scientists from Northeastern Federal and Kindai universities in Japan while on an expedition to the Verkhoyansky district of Yakutia. The horse was just 3 months old when it died during the late Paleolithic period, approximately 40,000 years ago. According to Grigoriev, this is the first find in the world of a prehistoric horse of such a young age and with such an amazing level of preservation. The photos of the perfectly preserved horse are almost unbelievable. It was found with its tail, mane, and hooves still attached, and its dark brown coat seems to be in excellent condition. Also, all of the horse's internal organs are still inside the animal after tens of thousands of years. The baby horse is just 38 inches tall and is genetically distinct from those now living in the region. This horse was an Equus lenesis, also known as the Lena horse, which roamed the area during the late Pleistocene, but is now extinct. Grigoriev also pointed out that this find has many other potential benefits for researchers outside of just the discovery of the horse. The extra value of the unique find is that the scientists obtained samples of soil layers where it was preserved, which means they will be able to restore a picture of the foal's environment. The region where this ancient horse was found, known as the Batagai Depression, is infamously treacherous and is also known as the mouth of hell. The tadpole-shaped crater is 1 kilometer long and 800 meters wide. The locals in the remote region also refer to the huge crater as the gateway to the underworld and are heartily superstitious about it. The depression was originally created by the Soviets when they cleared the forest in the area, and local scientists now say that climate change is making it larger. The amazingly well-preserved horse plucked the hellish area is a groundbreaking find for scientists, as they hope it will help them to unlock more secrets of the horse's environment all those millennia ago. Thank you for watching.
So, one, look at that horse. Look at how perfectly preserved that was. And this just happened last year, so this is still very new. And one thing to note here is they actually were able to extract blood from the horse. So when an animal dies, the blood coagulates and actually turns into like a dust. So we can't extract blood. So we were able to get actual blood from the horse. That is how perfectly preserved it was. 40,000 years old, and it definitely doesn't look that old. Okay, our next one. Has anybody heard about this one? The wolf's head? This is very, very new as well. So this is a wolf head that was found once again in Siberia. So this was the same as the fowl. Fowl was found in Siberia too. So that was a wolf's head. And when you look at the wolf's head, I want you to notice here, what are some features on it that you think would totally be gone if it wasn't for that permafrost? So permafrost is basically like an ice, and it literally pretty much freezes these organisms into perfect preservation. So look at his teeth, look at his nose, it has fur on it. I believe this guy was, I think he was not as old as the fowl, but he's still pretty old. So I want you to think about kind of all three of these right now, and which one did you like the best? Which one did you think was the coolest? Ah, we're tied. We're tied at the wolf head and the fowl. So that's what you guys liked the best. And I have one more, last one, I promise. But this one just happened 2 days ago. They found it, I believe, a few months ago, and it just came out all over now. They found an 18,000-year-old puppy. This is brand new. This one just hit. 18,000-year-old puppy. Now, when I was reading about it, they actually said that they don't know if this is a wolf or a domesticated dog, because it's at the time where we could have had domesticated animals. So they are unsure whether this was an actual wolf or a dog. So they're going to have to do a little bit more research on it and actually probably look at its genetics. They're going to be able to pull DNA from it. But I mean, that is just incredible for 18,000 years old. When I was looking at what to show you guys today, this, like I said, this is literally when you type in puppy, puppy fossil found, and all these articles are going to come up because it's brand new. Really, really cool. So one of the things I wanted to talk about with this history of life on Earth that we're kind of talking about is the rise of mammals. We are mammals, okay? Humans are mammals. I want you to look at this picture here. And I want you to just in the chat talk about what type of mammals do you see in this picture? And what is happening in the picture that is kind of standing out to you? So what do the mammals look like? Like, what type of mammals are they? And what is happening in the picture? So I'm going to go with you guys in the chat, and let's talk about it for just like a minute or so. This guy. Good. Okay, good. You guys said that they're little rodents. Okay, I see squirrels, chipmunks, rodents. Yeah, they are. Then they're hiding because they're smart. Exactly. So, Sadie, oh yeah, a meteor. Exactly. There's a meteor flying down. No one said the dinosaur. Well, okay, I take that back. Kayla said reptiles. So Kayla said reptiles. But the dinosaur, we have the dinosaur. We have the small mammals. So all mammals back in the age of the dinosaurs were small like this. They were nocturnal and small animals. And that was it. They didn't really branch out past that. Have you guys heard of a niche? So in your lessons, when you did some ecology stuff, have you guys talked about what a niche is, or a niche? Niche or niche? They're said both ways. So a niche is an organism's role in the environment. And the reptiles were literally kings and queens of this land. They filled a bunch of niches and they grew large, and they basically controlled the whole food chain and food web. So when this meteor came and struck and wiped out the dinosaurs, it allowed the mammals to go through something called adaptive radiation. This basically means that all of these niches that were being filled by the dinosaurs were no longer being filled because they had all died. So these mammals were able to then fill all these niches, and that's what led to this huge diversity in mammals. So it's kind of interesting to think about that the extinction of one group of animals led to the rise of another group of animals. And really, if the dinosaurs never went extinct, we don't know. Mammals may have never evolved into all the different species that we are now. So it's interesting to think about, if this didn't happen, we still could be at a different time. Humans may not be here. So this is just kind of a cool picture I wanted to show you guys. This is a basic history of life on Earth, very basic. And you can see we haven't really been around that long. Humans haven't really, we're a very blip of the time period. But what you'll kind of notice is at the bottom, you have more basic life, pretty much. We have a lot of like sea sponges, jellyfish, ocean creatures, crustaceans. And as we go up, we start to see life on land started to evolve. And then at the very top, we see all of that mammalian takeover. So you're starting to see the different types of mammals there at the top. But it's just kind of a cool picture to represent that, organisms have been around for a long time and a lot of things have changed. You'll see there's the gigantic extinction, and then the big extinction is your dinosaurs. There's actually more than two what we call mass extinctions, but these were just two that kind of were interesting to me. You have what's called the Cambrian explosion there, and so you see the Cambrian time period. There was a huge explosion of life at that point, and then usually what happens is when there's a huge explosion of life, there's also some huge extinction that follows, usually due to some sort of climate change or some sort of natural disaster. All right, our last thing. There are some puppies, and I thought I would put puppies because we talked about the wolf head and the puppy. So I want you to drag the dogs. So I want you to drag the orange dog to what you think the oldest rock layer would be. Blue is going to go to the top. And then red, when do you think life exploded on Earth? And what do you guys notice about this? This is actually Grand Canyon. So for those of you that live in Arizona and have ever gone to the Grand Canyon, these are some of the layers of the Grand Canyon. I don't know what leptosidomums is. What is that, Catherine? Is it a small species of mammals? Oh, yeah. Shrews. Oh, yeah, I'm sure they were around. Yeah, I just looked it up. That's cool. Small little mammals that were bipedal. Oh, they're kind of cute looking. Yeah, all little mammals, though, looked like that, actually. They were very small, nocturnal. That's how mammals all kind of started out. All right, nice. A lot of you guys dragged the orange dog down to the bottom and the blue dog closer to the top. And then I see some red dogs all over the place. So in the previous slide, I had talked to you how we had that Cambrian explosion. So you have a huge explosion of life, actually kind of where the bright angel shade and the mauve limestone is. So that's where like life just completely blew up. It was awesome. So I hope you guys enjoyed talking about some fossils today. I love talking about things that are actually going on in science right now. So we learned about a dinosaur with feathers that was recently discovered in Australia. And it was unique because we found out that these things could actually live in colder environments than we once thought. We looked at our perfectly 40,000-year-old preserved horse, our fowl, that they were able to actually extract blood from, which is extremely, extremely rare. We looked at our preserved wolf head and our preserved puppy that were preserved in our permafrost. And then we talked a little bit about the rise of mammals and some rock layers. So guys, we are moving and grooving. We have about 2 weeks of school left. I know a lot of you have already done 1 or 2 of your DBAs. The Calendly link is right on our Canvas page if you haven't yet. And I will be updating grades tomorrow morning. And you guys are just all rock stars. So keep doing what you're doing. And our last live lesson is going to be next week. So I'm sure I'll think of something really cool. It's got to be something with cells for sure, because we're really focusing on cells. So I'll think of something really cool for you guys to do. But thank you guys so much for joining, and I will see you all next week. Have a great weekend.